was kind of an under the radar film for him because it
Mhm.
didn't make a lot of money. Him and Wesley Snipes playing detectives, with Connery being the senior senior detective, and solving a murder case that is really kind of weird,
Yeah, very
but
weird.
I liked it. It was really good. Do not show this to the kids because you're going to have to explain some things.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those films that it's not really that violent. There are fight scenes in it. I don't know that anything gets particularly graphic, but there's some women of a how would you explain this? There's sex things. Yeah, sex happens in this movie frequently.
They're escort ladies.
Yeah, there you go. But his presence in this movie was tremendous, and the fact that other characters in the movie kind of looked at how impressive he was. Shut up, Lee. And it's not my fault. Looked at his impressiveness and went, "That's Sean Connery. I must be impressed now." And that I thought that was spectacular.
Which fit the role perfectly because he was supposed to have a lot of ties. It takes place, basically, there's a Japanese corporation, and although it takes place in LA, it's almost like at the Nakatomi Plaza, except it's not. So he has ties with the Japanese culture because he'd spent years there. So he is like their liaison. Plus, he is the senior detective. So he has a lot of respect on both sides, and the character should. And because it's Connery, he does as well. And the interplay between him and Wesley Snipes is great because Wesley Snipes was, people may not remember, but 93, Wesley Snipes was a big thing.
Yep.
Very big thing, and rightly so. And their pairing is really good. They have really good chemistry in the film. It's not a buddy film at all, but just that relationship of Snipes chafing at the fact that, yeah, this guy is the senior, et cetera, and I have to listen to him, yet knowing that he should. Really, really good. I think it's a really, really good movie. Borderline great movie. And again, Connery is terrific, and everybody is terrific. The acting in this movie is really good. But Connery is just like, yeah, it's Connery.
I mean, the other the other big film for me with him was Hunt for Red October.
Yep.
Which was not a flop. It had a tremendous cast to it. And actually, I'm going to throw out this trivia thing because a lot of people didn't realize this. I think there's maybe 3 women on screen at any point. One of them's an airline stewardess for "Would you like a drink?" Okay, thank you. And she's gone. Alec Baldwin's character in this, did you catch who his wife was?
Not offhand, no.
I mean, she's in the movie for like 10 seconds at the beginning of the film. It's Gates McFadden.
That's interesting.
Dr. Beverly Crusher is married to Alec Baldwin at the beginning of this movie, and she's on screen. I don't even think she has a line, but she's there. Anyway, back to Sean Connery, playing weirdly a Russian submarine commander with a Scottish accent. You get used to it. Don't worry about that. Again, it's his presence in the film that, because he's the commander of this ship, everyone looks up to him. And that's what Sean Connery does. It's, look at me, I'm leading you, whether you want me to or not. And everyone goes, yes, you are leading us, and we will follow. That's what he does. And it's great. While that film does get a bit slow in places, it's still it builds tension better, I think, than a lot of other movies do. When they
absolutely
slow down to build tension, a lot of them go, "Oh, we're slowing down to, I've gone to sleep," because that they slow down too much. This one doesn't. It gets the tension just right.
This coming from the man who was bored by Mad Max Fury Road, so
yeah. That was me.
But to your point, yeah, it does. Absolutely. The slow moments just, they crank up the tension even more. Really, really good movie. And again, Connery is just like off the charts. One thing, going back to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Sure.
Sean Connery, he's by far the biggest star because most of the cast wasn't that well. I mean, Stuart Townsend is probably the other biggest actor.
Actually, I have forgotten her name. She played Mina, the vampire woman. Thank you. She was just coming off playing. Crap, I've lost the name. It was a TV show. It was on the USA Network. La Femme Nikita. There we go.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean,
up there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of up. Yeah, it was absolutely. But I mean, she was maybe like the second biggest star.
As well as Sean Connery? No.
Yeah, exactly. Sean Connery was 73. 70.
Yeah, I guess he was, wasn't he?
When they made this movie. He's the lead in an action film. How much? And it works because they play to the fact that he's older because he's retired, and they talk about that. And if you watch the action scenes,
oh crap! I need my glasses.
You can kind of
tell. That's one of the things in the movie. It's not that line, but
that's close enough, right? Because he's got to pick off some guy at range who's some villain who's running away, and
he's 900 yards away.
Yeah, basically, he takes his glasses out and then shoots him because he's Alan Quatermain, who in this country he's not that well known. But Quatermain is an iconic character in the British Isles, but he pulls it off. He was freaking 73 years old, and he absolutely pulls it off without question. That to me speaks as much about the screen presence of Connery and the ability to command the scene as anything. It's like, how many actors are going to be able to do that and make it believable? Absolutely.
Now, I did want to ask you about one film with Sean Connery in it because I had to be reminded that Sean Connery was in this one. I watched it once.
Mm-hmm.
There is only one scene I remember, and he's not in it. The film is Entrapment. The scene I remember is Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Of course you remember.
In her prime, maneuvering around lasers.
Yes.
And if you watch it, are you going to remember anything else from that? It was not a memorable movie apart from that scene, at least as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. It's an okay movie. It's not even a good movie. Catherine Zeta-Jones, aside from the cat suit,
apart from that scene,
she's really good in it. Connery, again, is freaking Connery. He's really good in that film. And that's, I know we've been saying this a few times, and it's kind of a broken record, but Outland, High Noon in Outer Space.
Yep.
Okay movie. Not great. Could have been better.
It's Sean Connery.
Connery is terrific in that movie, and we see that. You mentioned Time Bandits before, and he plays Agamemnon, and he fights the Minotaur, and it's like, he's awesome because it's freaking Sean Connery. We see that over and over and over. Where if Connery's in it, okay, this looks like it's going to be a crap fest like Zardoz. But Connery's in it. I know Connery's going to be fun to watch, and he is. I mean, we haven't even talked. You mentioned the Presidio, and we haven't talked about The Name of the Rose. This, which is an odd take on this deep historical medieval monk murder mystery, and it's basically very loosely based on the book, but it's Connery, and he is excellent in it. I mean, we got some other movies like
I'll even mention Highlander 2, the worst sequel in the history of ever, but Sean Connery's parts of, I need to get an updated wardrobe, I need to fly. Can people fly now from here to there? Those scenes are incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a movie that is otherwise crap. Absolute crap.
We haven't mentioned this movie.
Yes.
And certainly not a Connery movie by any means. And it's an entertaining movie, but there's a major problem with this movie. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner, I like Kevin Costner a lot. I mean, I like him as a person. I like him as an actor. I like him as a director. Not the person to cast as someone from the British Isles, because he in no way can do anything close to anything other than
Kevin Costner.
I am from some indiscriminate place in America, because that's my
He
accent.
plays Kevin Costner very well.
He does. Towards the end of the film, King Richard comes back from the Crusades. Like towards the very end of the film, he comes back from the Crusades.
Film.
And we suddenly see who plays King Richard. I'm not going to say who it is, even though this is a movie that came out, oh my God, almost 30 years ago at this point, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because we respect the spoilers. But we have been talking about a certain actor. That is the high point of the film by far, because wow, who could we get to play this? And he's not even listed in the credits because they wanted it to be a surprise. And it's so perfect because, I mean, you can even see it in the actors, because it's like, oh my God, it's this guy. It's exactly what you were saying before.
I'm wondering if they told the actors for that. And just went, the King's here, and everyone goes, oh crap.
I hope they didn't.
Because that's one of the things where you could go, yep, the King is here.
True. Very true, especially for that kind of film. And, the fact that he had played Robin himself kind of works really well. So, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that was his last on-screen role, but he actually did a few voiceover works. Yeah, he actually did. And I started to watch this film called Sir Billy. That's the British title. Came out in 2012.
That would be the last thing.
And he does the voice of it. And I started watching it, and the animation is so god awful. I stopped watching. This is a theatrical release, and it looks like something that was done for a bad cable channel. That's the quality. It's a kids' movie. I'm just
looking at the picture, and it looks like it's made maybe in 92.
2012.
I know, but it looks like it was made in 92.
If then.
It makes Veggie Tales looks good.
Exactly. Really terrible level of animation is like I just gave up. So League of Extraordinary Gentlemen wasn't his last work, but it was last on-screen work, which, again, not a great film to wrap up with. Not a terrible film either, but a terrific performance. Absolutely a terrific performance. And there's still movies we haven't even...
Murder on the Orient Express, did not mention it yet.
Two movies I'll mention that I like that aren't my favorites, but The Anderson Tapes, where he's basically a master thief who is trying to break into... I can't remember. I think it's, I don't remember now if it's a bank. No, I think it's some high-rise building. He's trying to steal some stuff. But it's all about surveillance, because everything is under closed-circuit cameras, and he's not really aware of it, and they're setting him up. This is in 1971, so hello, Big Brother. The Offense, where he is a homicide detective who basically the pressures of the job have been getting to him, and he commits an offense by attacking a suspect. So the film kind of delves into the investigation of that, how it happened, the case that this guy was a suspect in, but basically it's a character study of Connery, and Connery is tremendous in that. But I'm going to go back to a movie called The Hill, one of my favorite movies. He did this in the middle of...
Between Goldfinger and Thunderball.
Yeah, between Goldfinger and Thunderball. And he plays a disgraced British Army sergeant who is in prison, military prison, his own service prison. And it's about how badly they're treated. Again, these are British soldiers in a British prison camp, because they've all committed various offenses and they're in jail. And it's a tremendous, tremendous performance. So back when people were thinking, oh, he plays Bond, that's all he can do, blah, blah, blah. It's like, there's so much depth to this. And it's such a great, gripping drama about how he's fighting against the system without trying to get the crap beat out of him, because that happens. Just an absolute